Welcome to the new episode of DHTML. In this session, I am going to discuss about XML standards. So let's begin. The W3C has developed a number of standards for XML. The aim behind developing this standard is to ensure that all the technologies work together seamlessly and regardless of their technical difference. In other words, we should be able to create XML document on Microsoft Windows using ASP.NET and use it on a Sun server using Linux in a Java program without making any changes. So that's what I have discussed in my earlier video, that XML is a mediator between two different platforms. Right. So let's start with the XML standards. So the XML standards, it includes the first standard, that is XML. So we know what is XML, so I'm not going to briefly in detail, because what is XML that I have already discussed in my earlier video, but still it's an extensible markup language and derived from the SGML, standard generalized markup language. Your user can create their own tags, right, and it is more concerned about the data. The next XML standard, that is XML namespace. So the XML namespace recommendation was made available in Jan 1999. This standard is aimed to allowing user of XML to associate certain tags with their own identifier. For example, suppose a person A creates XML document about book information, has element name book inside the document, and person B also create XML document and which pertaining to books and has her own book element. If we now merge these two documents to have consolidated view, all the books, there would be ambiguity, right? So why it is ambiguity? Because here the 2% data will be merged and the meaning becomes a different, right? So the namespace, for example, I mean, if I'll discuss this concept more precisely in my next video, but the basic idea I'll give you. Let's say uh, the information about the library, right? So in the library, on paper, or we can say in library, we need to keep records of all the books and all the members, right? So there will be the name of the book as well as the name of the library member. So in that place, if you write a name tag for book as well as name tag for library member, so that creates an ambiguity. So at that place you require a namespace. So we will see in detail. Document type definition, the entries in database table are validated against a database schema. The database schema not only provides the details about the structure and the organization of database, but also about the rules that need to be enforced on data items. So basically DTD is the rule to validate your XML document, right? That we will also see in my next video, but here I'll just give you the basic idea. So document type definition allows us to specify the rules associated with XML file, right? this is the format, the structure for the XML document, like books content book element, and it close with books root element. And this is the DTD file, which mention that element books, right, will be the root element, and books contain one more element, that is book. So as per this DTD, this structure is valid. But now it is mentioned that element book, now we talk about this book element. Element book contains what? The book title and the author, right? But here it is not mentioned. So to validate this, right, this XML, whether as per this DTD, whether this XML document is valid or invalid, so that depends on the DTD data. So as per this DTD, it is like books will be the root element, the books will be the root element, books content book element, and book element contains two more element, that is book title and author. So it's a 3-level XML structure. So that is what the DTD. XML file extension is .xml and DTD file extension is .dtd. That we will see in detail. The next, that is cascading style sheet. So you people already know about the CSS, and CSS is technology to allows the formatting of the HTML documents, but it is purely for the HTML, right? And to format the XSL data, here we have XML data, here we have the XSL, right, that is extensible style sheet language. So first we discuss the CSS. This is the HTML document, body, h1 tag, paragraph, content, right, and this is how it looks on the browser. Now if you apply the CSS, see, now this, see, this is the HTML document. The same document looks different on one browser and which looks different on other browser. So here you require a CSS, right? So we need a CSS, and after applying the CSS, it looks similar on each and every browser, right? So that is the main purpose of CSS, but that is mainly for formatting the HTML document. Now formatting the XML document, we have extensible style sheet language, that is XSL. Extensible style sheet language standard provide means for formatting and transforming the XML document in desired manner. See, the HTML aims at to format the formatting the output in meaningful way. On other hand, XML does not care much about the formatting details of contents. Formatting XML documents. Formatting XML documents is simple idea. Imagine that we want our XML documents to be displayed as though they are HTML documents. That is, we want to be able to add formatting details, headers, tables, and so on, the way we have in HTML. XSL allows us to do this. We can take XML document, apply corresponding XSL document, and the resulting output in equivalent to HTML, right? So see, if you combine all three elements together, XML document, XSL document formatting details, right, linked with HTML, and which represents on final on browser. Now that is formatting. XSL, another advantage is to transforming the XML document, right? Now transforming XML document, that is like to transform original form to another form, right? So this is like XML document content, XSL transforming detail, XML document transformed content, and for further processing to like uh, display on other platform, right? So this is like, as I have discussed, that if the data fetch from the platform of ASP and you want to display on Java platform, right? So at that place transformation is required. You can see this employee structure. It's good to have look the basic structure in our syllabus. We ends up to, I mean, in for the XML, because XML itself is a big concept, a complete subject. If you find the standard, right, more than 11 standards are there, 11 to 12 standards are there. So if you include all the standards and if you learn all the topics in detail, so that uh, the concept is the conceptual size is like for one subject, but in our syllabus it is included for one unit. So we ends up to the DTD. So we start with the XML and up to the DTD. See the employees, the root element employee, then we have employee name, number, name and designation. So one employee detail, two employee detail, and the third employee detail, second and third. Now same employee structure. See, we can use XSL to transform into the XML structure. See, so here the transformation is completely different, the format is completely different. Root element employees, then we have designation. If designation is consultant, so as per the consultant the employee is there, and in that employee number and name. So the one detail is completed, right? This is unnecessary element, it's a mistake of this book. Only one element, close element, will be required here, right? So after that we have like, no, the closing sign is added. Don't, I mean, remove this close sign, because this is like open tag for another employee number, employee name and close employee tag, right? So the consultant, two employees are there, the number 100 and number 102, and if you find senior consultant, so number 101. So it is like complete transformation in other format. So at that place XSL is work. So in XSL, two elements you have to remember, XSLT and XSLFO. XSLT allows the formatting as well as the transformation of XML document, and XSLFO, that is formatting object, is similar to CSS to provide the final display of XML document content as desired. The next we have XML schema. XML schemas do all that DTD can do and far more. The XML schema provides rules for the contents of XML document, pretty much like DTD, right? So schema is also the rules for the XML, but you may think that why two types of rule? If DTD is there, what is the purpose of schema? But I would say the schema is next extension of DTD, because in DTD it has certain limitations, no data types and all. So to overcome the limitations of DTD, they needs to improve the this constraint, especially this data type constraint. So it removes in schema. So schema is also a one type of rule for the DTD. See, um, if you study the DTD, you realize that the syntax is different from the XML, where schema syntax are much more similar to the XML schema, I mean XML file. In other words, if you after learning DTD, yet you have not, but if you learn DTD, the DTD is much more simpler than the schema, because schema is little bit complex, because the concepts are the concept to validate the XML documents are uh, to validate the XML documents in we can say in deep level, right? But DTD, if you compare DTD and schema, right? If you want to properly validate your XML document, so the schema will be the better option than the DTD. Then XML query language, because XML why the query language, because the XML is works XML work for the you can say uh, the XML work for the data. It's more concern about the data, not the representation. So data, so for adding the data, you may require to fetch the data, to retrieve the data, right? So as per the query, you can get the proper result. So if the data, the structure is there, like this is the data, right? And with query language you can fetch the data, like so the query language uh, that you want to fetch a specific details of books to book to author, and is ordered by the particular element and written. So as per that, right? See here, if you notice the order of the data, the first order is Computer Network Tenenbaum 2004, 2003 and 2001. Now here, if you observe the order, right? So first, that is uh, the author. As per the author, you want to you can say the you want to sort the data, right? So I missed the page, right? The Comer and Douglas, right? So that is in A to Z format, right? Ascending order. So first it starts with C, so this data will represent at first the author ID DC, right? Then Kahate, and then Tenenbaum. So that will be the final result. Yes, this will be the final result after applying the X query. So here I'll just introduce you the XML standard. We are not going to see in detail, because as I've discussed, all this concept are too large concept, and the XML itself is a one complete subject. So here we just give you the basic idea. So the further things you can get. Okay, so the next is Xlink, that is HTML allows us to create hyperlink, right? Similarly, XML also provide the feature. A linking XML divide into two parts: XML linking language and XML pointer language. So you can link the XML document, or you can link the two elements, or you can point to the specific element, right? It's kind of pointer, right? So if we have a pointer, right, so if the pointer is used to pointing to the particular node, same way here instead of node we have elements, so pointer is used to point to the particular element, that is XML pointer. And the link, so you can link the particular two elements, the two files, you can say as well. See the Xlink. Xlink defines the standard mechanism for creating a hyperlink in XML document. X pointer allows the hyperlink to point a more specific part. After linking, you want to specifically point to the particular element of a structure, right? It may be from, from the part of a sub element, right? Because in XML structure we have the root element, we have the sub element, and we can say sub of sub element, depends the level of the elements, first level, second level, third or fourth level. So to pointing to the specific level of the element, we have the XML pointer. See, Xlink feature is a language for creating hyperlink in XML. Xlink is similar to HTML link. Any element in XML document can behave as Xlink. Xlink supports two parts of link: simple link and extended link. And link can be defined outside of the link file. See, there is a home page. For the home page, there is type like simple, and the test page w3org, visit w3c, right? So if you click on this, you can redirect to here. If you click on this, you can redirect to here. So this is link. Then the X pointer. We have mentioned earlier, in X pointer allows the hyperlink to point to the more specific part of the XML document. However, there is change. Whenever we won't be able to refer to the particular element in XML document using X pointer, we need to add an ID attribute to the element, right? So through the ID, because here there is no concept of class, no concept of selectors, there's only ID, right, as an attribute. So ID attribute, like, you can point to the particular element. So using X pointer you can also move, like pointing to the particular element, you go up, you go down, right? Similar, like we do the same thing in jQuery, right, for traversing the elements. In XML also we can traverse. You can point to the specific element, right? See, there is three level, no? Books, then book, then book title. So book publish here is the ID here, right? So in this structure, if you want to highlight the author, so you have to travel from top, like so, top to, like, first you the root element of sub element, and the sub element of second number element, sub of sub element, the second position. So if you want to reach to this data, right, so like that way you can reach, or the bottom approach as well you can reach. So top to bottom, bottom to top, or through the specific ID also you can reach. The next we have the X path. So XPath is used to refer the specific portion of the XML document using XSLT and XPointer. XPath can be used to access address and the location inside XML document and for manipulating strings, number and boolean values. This will be best understood with example which is given in the following figure. See, there is employee designation and inside the designation employee detail, because the consultant, there is two consultant are there, Atul Kahate and Manoj Apte. Let's see, so this is XPath extension, that there is employee to designation to employee and move to the employee name. So this will be the XPath. It is similar like the URL, right? If you open any folder, so in your address bar it shows the folder structure, the same path it shows, right? Like in C, in my computer there will be the D drive, in D drive there will be the BCA folder, in BCA folder there will be the F5 folder, in F5 folder XML folder, like that, the same XPath expression. XML digital signature. XML digital signature provides a means of message integrity and non repudiation for the XML document. So basically XML digital signature can be enveloped, include the XML document, because you need to transfer the data from one platform to other platform and over the internet, right? So the security is required, otherwise unnecessary your data will be you can say distribute, I mean any unknown party can fetch your data. So at that place the digital signature is also works important role, so that no one can steal your data, you can say. So using XML digital signature we can establish a proof of message integrity, right? So the message integrity simply means that the content of message should not be altered while it is traveling from one sender to other receiver, right? So if somebody cannot see your message and if I mean if you provide the digital signature, so the original message cannot be altered by the third party, it should be between sender and receiver, right? So at that place digital signature plays the important role, like transferring A to B, the message is like $100, right? To D, transfer $100 to D, and that send the message to C, and C sends the message that transfer $1,000 to C, right? This is called the loss of message integrity, right? And if the digital signature is there, right, so the case of non, see, so the A to B, because you want to send the message from A to directly B, right? No, the middle party is there, so at the time transfer $1,000 to C, and A to B, that I have never sent above message, right? That two are the example, that problem of loss of message integrity and case of non-repetitions. XHTML. The XHTML, that is the 12th standard, 12th number standard of XML standards, from the group of XML standards, you can say. XHTML is not a new language, but it is revised version of HTML with the rules for the XML. So if you want to see the final output of the XML, right, you have to reach up to this level. So once the HTML file is completed with XML, and XML with all the DTD or the schema or with XSL language, and that contributes to XHTML, so you'll get the final output. With only XML and DTD, you cannot get the final output on the browser. So that's all about the XML standards. I hope now you people are clear about the basic informations of all 12 standards of W3C for XML standards. Thanks for watching my video. We'll meet soon in the next session.